Welcome back to 5-Star Matchup. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe now and turn on your notifications. Well, you all know what we're here for, and it's for a hopefully epic send-off at Heinz Field for our beloved 39-year-old gunslinger, and while I'll be the first to admit that sometimes football fandom can be a painfully miserable existence, every once in a while the football gods get something right. Let's see how we got where we got. Bob Spillane taketh, and Bob Spillane giveth. Wildcard game flashbacks begin to intensify with number 41 trying to cover Jarvis Landry, and I, for one, hate to see it. Luckily, though, Anthony Schwartz can't catch this swatted ball by Bam Bam Cam, and Austin Hooper looks like a real dipshit on third, and it's over to Ben and the boys. Let's see what magic Mr. Canada's serving up on this cold, cold night. While the story in our hearts tonight is undeniably Large Benjamin, the story on the field was Najee Harris, and the young bell cow was getting chunks early and often in what would be his best game as a pro. Offense goes nowhere, and it's back to Nick Chubb, who rips off an absolute chunk against the once vaunted Steelers D, but in their, defense, it was really his only big play of the night. 4th and 7 now, though, and Baker tries like an idiot to throw it through Godzilla Hayward, and obviously Captain Cam swats that thing out of the air with ease. Go home and rest that shoulder, Baker. It ain't your night, pal. Little momentum for the Steelers offense starts as it usually does with a flip to Deontay, aka Mr. 1000, followed by another toad up the gut for the Naj man, who truly was running possessed all night. Hand it to the fullback. Steelers go for their own 4th down, and it's similar results, with a batted pass stopping the drive in its tracks. Did you forget this was AFC North football? 0-0 forever, baby, let's go. Next series, Trent Jordan baits Mama Mayfield's baby boy into a game of mouse and cat, but sadly for the quarterback, this ain't no Tom and Jerry on HBO Max, and the definitive defensive player of the year swats that thing out of midair with reckless abandon. 3rd and 6, why would you try to block that same Trent Jordan with this poor helpless soup can of a tackle who looks like he couldn't even play on the Steelers' very offensive line? The answer doesn't matter because the result is their quarterback going down like a sack of bricks for Teja's first sack of the game as we head into the second quarter. Nice little play-action rollout gets Ben moving and finding Ray Ray for what's probably the longest play of his career, kidding, and the Steelers are finally moving it. Najee moves the heavens to pick up a few and convert what else is new, and stop me if you've heard this one before. Flanker screen on 3rd and forever goes absolutely nowhere. Thankfully, Jadeveon Clowney is a dumbass and throws the bank's shoe for an obvious 15 yards and a new lease on life for the Steelers offense. I've said all year this offense is mostly predicated on throwing slants to Deontay and hoping for the best, and on 1st and goal, Ben does exactly that. The shifty DJ beats his man to the spot and tumbles into the end zone for the first score of the game. I know it's Ben's night, but I'll continue to acknowledge that Deontay Johnson has been the best offensive player on this team all year, and he deserves a new deal this offseason. With a little lead now, you know the milk certainly isn't getting any quieter. Nice swap by the Rook, who continues to be a bright spot. 3rd and long, and once again, Tej gets by his man almost immediately, forcing an errant throw and ending the drive. Next series, we're reminded of the biggest reason why 2021 hadn't always been quite so rosy for our boys in black with the easy strip sack on Large Benjamin. Luckily, he falls on it, avoiding disaster. Next series, Baker's moving and slinging, but his arm must feel like jello because he hits a Kello in stride, and the young buck snags a nice pick to hand it back to Ben. Baker's struggles continue as his contract prospects dwindle. It's almost like someone said to Najee, go out there and show why you're the next guy on this offense, and boy, did he ever. Vintage Big Ben here as number 7 expertly avoids the rush and fires a laser out to the Muth man who powers ahead for a first. Shades of Ben and Heath without a doubt. Who says the old man can't still move a little? Great play by Ray Ray on a bit of a hospital ball by Ben, and the Steelers are threatening to open this one up. Unfortunately, Matt Canada is still in over his head, and Najee gets no touches from the 5, and the Steelers can't get the 6er. Luckily, Boz couldn't miss one this short if he kicked it left-footed, and it's a 2-score first-half lead for the Steelers. Imagine that. With 10 straight incompletions under his belt, Baker's finally feeling dangerous as he spins and deals to get the Browns cooking just a little. Another great play by Witherspoon, and I don't care what else happens this offseason, but this guy must come back. He's who we thought James Pierre was going to be. Peoples-Jones finds the soft spot for a gainer, and you can already feel the Browns making this a closer game before the half. Luckily, on 3rd and 2, we're reminded of the fact that we root for literally the best defensive player in football, and Trent Jordan grabs his second sack of the night to shut this drive down. Steelers try to get a little something going after a completion and a late hit, but it's too little, too late, and Ben throws a so what pick as we head into the half. Steelers 10, Browns nothing. Into the 3rd now, and it's more of the same for poor old Baker, who's trying his best to escape but gets wrapped up by Killer Cam, who continues to age like a fine wine. You love to see it for the captain. All I know is this league is going to need to watch out when this team gets an offensive line, because OMG is this guy going to be great. Just a brutal finish from the Naj man, who has indeed cometh and breaketh Franco's rookie rushing record. And yes, I know it's more games, but hey, I'm living in the here and now, dog. Most running backs don't play 85% of their team snaps now either. Ben knows it's approaching winning time, so he finds old reliable number 18, and this offense is once again on the move. Sweet little catch and run for Mr. McLeod gets Ben into the business zone, but he's always been more of a jeans and t-shirt kind of guy in my opinion, so Canada dials up another brain-dead special, and this drive heads to the ICU. Boz couldn't miss a 30-yarder if you lit him on fire at the snap, and the Steelers take a tenuous 13-point lead that's just begging to be 13-7 at the start of the 4th. More mouse and cat for Trent and Bake, and it's another swap for the just painfully obvious Defensive Player of the Year, and I swear to God I will create the most annoying protest movement if he doesn't win it this year. Lucky draw for Tej on this next one as he gets the sack for a Baker scramble and slide, which is still less cheap than Strahan's record breaker against Brett Favre. Look it up if you're too young, it was completely bogus, but I'll still take it for number 90. Dustin Colquitt sucks, but Ray sucks worse, and this drive is about as dead as could be before it's even begun. Clowney demolishes Chooks for an easy sack that Ben thankfully keeps out of the end zone, and it's back to Cleveland with a chance to make it a one-score game. Because you already know how the 2021 Steelers roll, you know it's about time for the Browns to hit a chunk play that's gonna get you to lean forward and just barely audibly utter words like fuck, shit, donkey, perhaps even or balls. Your choice, but you know this is gonna be a game. 3rd and goal is roastin' time, and unfortunately for number 23, my man's is looking like a potato covered in olive oil and kosher salt on this mossing of a touchdown for David Njoku. Steelers 13, Brownies 7. Steelers do nothing and give it right back, but thankfully it's Alex Highsmith grabbing another sack of the man in the 6 as we head in the 4th and final stanza. Once again, it's that man they call Bob the Brick in coverage, and he really might as well be one because unless you throw him directly at something, he sure as hell ain't covering anything. Browns get behind and down in distance though, and even more pressure from number 90 forces a throwaway and a 3rd and 20. Not shy to have a good day at the office, it's Witherspoon with another simply great coverage play. Probably would have been tackled way short even if he caught it, but it sure looks good on film. Nice punt, You're supposed to kick the ball, not the ground. Another week, another failed combat catch for number 11. I am absolutely dying for you to catch more of these, Chase. For the love of God, you're 8 inches bigger than everyone else covering you. Can you act like it? When all else fails, throw it to DJ and hope for the best, but sadly he falls down on this route and it's another disappointing drive, setting up the Boz for a 50-yarder to make it a 2-score game. Of course you can close your eyes because you already know Boz is... Great play in the run game by number 56, who I guess has ultimately had a nice year. Not Bud, but close enough. Speaking of number 48, it's White Bud Dupree once again grabbing a killer sack, this time of Baker Mayfield, who had no idea what hit him. Nice last few weeks for the kiddo. Chase, I am pleading. Something 48 yards in his sleep, and Boz is, as always... You guys want to see a dead body? Just a crushing sack by TJ on his 4th, yes, 4th of the night. Incredible night for the young man on national TV, who now has a good chance to set the single-season record next week against Baltimore. Close but no cigar on the very next play for Tej, but this time he generously lets his teammate Alex the Great grab another for the stat sheet, and the Browns are officially on life support. Just one of those kind of pass interferences on 4th and a millennia, and nobody's grabbing the body bag just yet. You know, it's been that kind of a night for a QB when even the cowardly lion Hank Mondeau is getting in on the sack party. Had to keep this stat in just for food for thought. 18 years we've been watching this guy, he's played exactly 2 games with nothing on the line. Absolute insanity. Bored and lonely, Baker lobs one into the end zone after eating most of the clock, and it's a 19-14 game, which feels exactly like every single Steelers game this season. Down to their last chance, the Browns kick it on sides, but it rolls to the exact guy you don't want it to if you're them, and it's back to Ben and the boys to seal off one final victory at Heinz. Naj grabs 5 on second down, and on third, it's...
Najee Harris to the end zone. Touchdown, Steelers.
What did I say about the football gods getting it right? Man, did they ever get this one right. How symbolic for our beloved Large Benjamin to hand it off to the future of the franchise, who gallops off for the emphatic and decisive touchdown. Thank you, Najee. And I know you thought this would be the play of the game, but we're not done just yet. Because Baker is a very polite quarterback, he throws one final interception with a measly 10 seconds on the clock, just to give the spotlight back to the old cowboy in his favorite saloon for the last time, setting up our 5-star play of the game. You know, I kept it together as long as I could watching this. I'll be honest in saying that this year's version of the Steelers had broken my will in a sense. I'd convinced myself I wouldn't get emotional at Ben playing out his final days. But as soon as that final turnover happened, and I calculated what I was about to see, and that I'd be seeing it for the very last time, I lost it. 18 years, Ben. I couldn't even begin to thank you for what a hero you've been to me through so much of my life. Much has changed. I was a 14-year-old high school freshman when you came along. For almost 2 decades straight, no matter how low or high I might have been, I knew I had something I could believe in, because as long as my team had the guy in the number 7 jersey, they had a chance. I'm proud to say I watched every snap of Big Ben's career, and that in all likelihood, I'll be bragging about it in 30 years when my niece or nephew says whoever the new guy is the best quarterback in Steelers history. They'll be so convinced they're right, but I'll always know they're wrong. Thanks, Ben. Here we go.